What is going on, YouTube? It is Primitive here, and today I'm bringing you yet another BT7 match. Today we have the finals of the first BT7 locals that we're having here at Rocky Mountain Collectibles. This is going to be between two yellow hybrid decks with the purple package, something that we'll probably see a lot of in this metagame, a very powerful deck. But as we can see on the left, the player going first just whiffed and passed turn, putting at 3, so the player on right also missing a rookie, but could play out 2 Kari Kamiyas, putting the opponent to 3. And now we're going to just see a hard play Zephyrmon into a hard play Kazimon, so we can see both these players kind of just having very awkward beginning hands. No rookies, no yellow tamers to go on top of, but can go ahead and digivolve on top of the Zephyrmon here, so that way you can draw a card and recover, and we're just going to see it happen on the other end. So kind of having a little bit of a mirror match here, but the player on the right is definitely going to have a little bit of advantage with those Karis, because they are going to be able to manage the opponent's memory on their turn. And when you're not having a memory tamer or a memory gainer such as the TK Kari, being able to manipulate your opponent's memory is going to be a lot more powerful, because you can put them to 1-2, be able to swing tap to gain memory when they come out of security, and 2 security is going to come out and they're going to be able to hit the TK Kari and then be able to gain the 2 memory with the Kari. So now this is actually very impactful, because now the player on the right has the TK Kari while having less security than the opponent, so they're going to be able to go +2 memory every single turn now, as long as they stay underneath, and that's going to be able to gain a lot of advantage, because like I said, gaining memory on your opponent's turn is going to be really good value, but also being able just to gain an extra 2 memory every turn is also going to be pretty valuable. Now, going to come out with the 1 of reinforced memory boost, just recently getting hit on the restricted list, so that way you can grab the Kazimon, put the Zephyrmon on the top, and you have a rookie for next turn. You can get that extra draw, and now we're going to go into Shine. -12 is easily going to be able to pop that Seraphimon there, and being able to get rid of that threat. The Seraphimon is a card that I am a big fan of in the yellow hybrid, being able to get an extra recovery while also being able to have some aggression. Something that the yellow hybrid can struggle a bit with is having that late game aggression, or just being able to have general aggression at all. You do have the yellow Rise Greymon inheritable, which can give security attack +1 to your bigger megas, but the ability to have your mega also have security attack +1 is pretty big, especially when you tack that on top of the yellow Rise Greymon to be able to get extra checks. Now, being at 10k DP like the Seraphimon is a little bit weaker in the current metagame, but being able to get those extra checks is going to help a lot. As we can see, the Seraphimon did get a lot of early game advantage as far as security goes. Your opponent did get a lot of value out of the TK Karis, but with the yellow hybrid mirror match, if you don't want to go to time, you really have to be aggressive and try to win. Now we're going to see the yellow Rise Greymon come out here, so the player on the right is going to be able to potentially threaten their own aggression here, but looking like they don't have the tamer, so very interesting. Not going to be able to get the on play and no mega to go on top, and that's going to be a little bit scary, just because your opponent is going to have access to Schwartz if they want to. They only have 2 tamers on the board, but they could easily just use the reinforced memory boost to go up to 4. Or actually, no, they can't because of the Kazimon. So yeah, the Schwartz is going to come out. It's only going to be able to pop 2. I was going to say you could potentially play another tamer out and get a 3rd Digimon to go down, but the Kazimons are going to stop that. And then the Schwartz, like I said, is going to come out, going to be able to get rid of the Rise. Now, it isn't the most impactful, just because you only have 2 tamers. You weren't able to get rid of the Kazimon, which right now are being super annoying by stopping your reinforced memory boost, but you were able to stop one of your opponent's Digimon from getting back up into a mega by getting rid of that Rise. And like I was saying earlier, there's not a lot of aggression in the yellow hybrid, so getting rid of a Rise does stop a lot of aggression, especially since I don't believe the player on the right is playing the Seraphimon like the player on the left is. So we're gonna have to see where we get to now. The 2 Karis on the left are gonna be pretty irrelevant for a little bit, because they just have so much security that I don't think they're going to gain a lot of value from it. So if I was the player on the right, I would just go ahead and try to choke them as much as possible. They still can't gain the memory from the reinforced memory boost as long as this Kazimon's on the board. So if you just continue to protect this Gazi and keep putting your opponent at 1, they're not really going to be able to do basically anything. So gonna have to think about what they want to go for here. Looks like they were considering if they wanted to tap the Karis, and they're gonna go to do that anyway to gain the memory. Tapping the Karis here is fine. You stop it from being able to gain memory on your opponent's turn, but you can expend some more here, being able to draw 1, recover with the Zephyrmon, and see where they want to go here. Going with the Blinding Ray, so just recovering and getting rid of it, and then going into the Dynasmon to trash the next security, which is also a Dynasmon. Gonna be able to search the top 6, grab 2 Digimon, and then recover thanks to Dynasmon's effect. And to top it all off, you are still putting your opponent at 1, making it so that they are not going to be able to gain too much memory here, still having that Gazimon to shut down the reinforced memory boost, but they can go ahead and swing, and if this Elecmon goes down in security, they can pop the Gazimon, but they're actually just going to trade into the Shine Greymon despite not having the Retaliation live just yet, but it does make it so that they can pop the Gazimon, so that way they can get that reinforced memory boost back live, and potentially any blinding rays if they have that in the list. And they're actually just going to go with the Wyvern's Breath, not popping the reinforced memory boost here despite getting rid of the Gazimon and lowering the opponent's amount of memory that they're going to gain here, but just going to give them a bunch of memory. Looks like they're going to gain 4 anyway, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. You might as well just put them up to 10 and see what they can go with here. Looks like they're counting the deck to see how many cards are left, so might have decking out as a potential strategy. And hitting the TK here, so this is actually going to change a lot about how the player on the left can play, because now they're not going to be getting choked. And the security coming out is actually a pretty big deal because I believe they're both at 4 now, so TK Kari is no longer live on the opponent's end, and one more security down for the yellow player on the left, and the Karis are going to be live, so there it is. I do believe those Karis are now live on the left, which means that next turn they're going to be gaining an extra 2 memory on top of the TK, actually an extra 3 memory. They're playing 3 Kari, that's very crazy. I'm a big fan of Kari. I was playing it at 1, but I definitely didn't think to play the Kari at 3, so that's pretty crazy, and it's going to gain them a lot of value here, going to a minimum of 6 next turn, and being able to get rid of your opponent's TK Kari advantage like that is pretty nice. But the player kind of did it to themselves. They just wanted to go in, start to get aggressive. They noticed how little they had left in deck and that they just kind of have to start going in, so we will see what happens here. There are so many Tamers on the board now that a Schwartz is going to be a borderline board clear outside of the Shine, so if that does come out, it's going to be pretty rough, because then you'll still have the Shine, which can swing your last security check that the opponent has and then go in for a hybrid and potentially go for game. But if they do recover and then play Schwartz, I think the game might be out of reach. You would have to have 2 hybrids in hand, and since you kind of went crazy with hybrids the past couple turns, and we saw a couple come out of security, that I don't know if they're going to be able to have the hybrids to be able to go on top of these Zoes and go in for game, so we'll have to see what happens here. Kari is going to Digivolve into one of the hybrids here. Let's see, going into the Zephyrmon, do they have the Jet Sylphie to go on top? They do, so they're going to be able to recover. Going to pop the reinforced memory boost now, going back up to 6, so paying 3 to get up there, gonna pay another 3, and gonna go into Shine, so not even worrying about going for the Schwartz unless they want to get rid of the Shine. If they got rid of the Shine and then went for the Schwartz, they would be able to full clear here, but they're just gonna go ahead and clear with the Shine, swing over, leaving the Shine Greymon on board, so that way their opponent is unable to go into Jet Sylphimon on top of those hybrids and get an extra recovery, which I don't think matters too much. Maybe they're actually just trying to shut down the level 6 buildup and not so much the Jet Sylphie, because your opponent's so low on deck that I don't think it matters too much. Not sure what the players are discussing here, but I do see a Wyvern's Breath in hand. Could consider playing that out and just getting rid of the Shine Greymon on board. And if you do, your opponent literally has 0 win condition next turn because they don't have the Seraphimon, so they aren't able to swing more than 2 checks next turn with the 2 hybrids, and so you'll be at 0 security, come back into your turn, and I think they are going to run out of deck. I think there's only 1, maybe 2 cards left in deck, so let's see what they want to choose to do here. Looks like they're thinking about Susanomon as well. Susano and or the Wyvern's Breath is going to do it. But we actually see the Magna Andromon coming out, so that's an interesting tech that I don't see in a lot of lists, and something that is going to help a lot. You're going up to 3 security now. Your opponent can only swing the 3 checks, and they are out of deck, so we'll see what happens here. Schwartz come out, no target, and we'll see. Like I said, I don't believe there is the Seraphimon in deck, and there is not. They are just going to scoop it up, and we're going to go to game 2, and the player on the left who won will be going first, of course. Want to be able to get that extra advantage, go in second, get that memory, get that draw, start to get ahead early. So Elecmon on one end, Gazimon on the other, and then now going into a turn 1 Bokomon, gonna be able to grab a Zoe, and I believe that's Jet Sylphie, so pretty good grab starting off. Ooh, and then going into another Bokomon, so just cycling out here, can grab a Kaze as well as the TK Kari, so really setting up, getting some good cards in hand. The Elecmon's going to be able to swing in, does survive, so not going to be able to get rid of one of the Bokomon, so that is unfortunate for the player on the left, but can just play out a TK Kari, so that way if your opponent does want to swing in with these rookies, you can start to gain some memory. But We're going to see the Blinding Ray come out, trashing a security to go up to 3, and then going to play the Zoe. Didn't end up tapping the Kari and gaining the memory there, so wonder what their play is going to be here. I would assume you want to give your opponent as little memory as possible, but I think the Blinding Ray was a little interesting because you obviously want to prevent your opponent from getting TK Kari memory and give yourself the TK Kari memory, but you also don't want to just die because your opponent's swinging, going to be able to pop the Pokemon here, draw one, trash one with the Demi-Meramon, and now you're just down to 2 security. We do know that the Kaze and the Zephyr were grabbed, so you can go ahead and recover up with that, but since the player on the left is playing things like the BT1 Seraphimon, which has just so much aggression, I think that Blinding Ray so early is a little bit scary. I'm not 100% sure what's in their hand, so if they do have multiple hybrids into Jet Sylphies, they'll probably be okay, especially if you can get a Dynasmon out there to get that extra recovery, because Dynasmon's effect paired with the TK or the Zoe can give you 2 extra recovery when you're so low. TK coming out, gonna grab the Yellow Rise. I think this is very smart. Not only is it gonna get you a Tamer out for free, but it's also gonna make it so if you have 3 or more Yellow Tamers, you're gonna get that Sec +1. And with your opponent going so low in security so early, you definitely want to be trying to get that extra aggression. And yeah, I think the player on the left right now definitely has the advantage. Now in this matchup, things can definitely change pretty quickly, but since the player on the right is getting pretty low on security and the player on the left is feeling pretty good, and we see a hand that doesn't look too bad from the player on the left, I think they're going to be able to get that aggression. All they're missing is a level 6 to go on top of that Yellow Rise. And if that level 6 that they hit ends up being Shine Greymon, it could be very detrimental for the player on the right just because they have so little on board, and the Schwartz is even more detrimental than the Shine Greymon. Not only clearing the board, stopping those checks from coming in, and now the Shine Greymon doesn't even seem relevant because you're not going to have anything on board. Your opponent just cleared the board. They're still only at 3 security. You have multiple Tamers on board, including a Memory Tamer, so you're not going to get choked like last game, and I think this is just one of those games where unless the player on the right really starts to make a comeback here, starts to recover and get some stuff on the board, I think that Schwartz might have been a little too detrimental. The Shine Greymon wouldn't have been as much because they wouldn't have been able to clear the whole board, but they would have been able to get a pretty good board wipe. But the Schwartz coming out of security, just really showing the power of this card and how amazing that card coming out of security really is, because you are just naturally playing Tamers to progress your game plan as it is. So when that comes out, you're usually pretty set on Tamers and board clear. So we're gonna have to see how the players respond to this. The Kari's coming out to make it so that they can gain some memory, put the opponent down to 1, and they will go to 3. So if you have something like a Tamer here, you might just play that out so that way you can fill out the memory, but I don't see any Tamers in hand. It looks like a lot of Digimon, so you're probably just gonna hard play something out here or Digivolve into a hybrid. That's pretty interesting. Oh, there is another Kari. Actually, I just did miss it, but they are going to be able to play that out and then gain the 2 memory from the TK Kari on the other end, go up to 5. Tapermon's going to go down, draw 2, trash 1 from the effects, and not the biggest fan of the Demi-Mera in this list still, just because trashing feels so bad a lot of the time. Drawing is okay, but trashing just feels pretty rough, so I'm very interested when these players do have their Demi-Meras go down. I would like to see what they trash, that way I can see what other players are thinking about when trashing, because when I was playing the Demi-Meramon, trashing every time felt pretty bad. So gonna go ahead with the Bokomon, pay 2, gain 2 with the Boko, and then are we going to see the Jet Sylphie come out? Here comes the Jet Sylphie, recovering up to 3, so staying healthy and coming back into it. Ooh, going to hit the Susanomon, so that's a Susanomon down. I don't know if they're playing 2 in the deck list, but if they aren't, then that Susano is down for the count. And now the player on the left is going to be starting to gain that memory. They do have the Kari's out, but I do believe the player should be at 7 because they're supposed to gain 2 from the Kari, 2 from the TK Kari, go up to 7. So it looks like they are fixing it now. Go up to 7, Digivolve for 2, go down to 5. Jet Sylphie going to put you at 4, and you are going to be able to recover up and then go into the Seraphimon. So here we go. 2 checks. We are recovering up to 3, gonna get 2 checks, gonna die down to the Susanomon, but you did get both the checks in, and that is fine, because even if it did go down, if it's a lot better than it going down on the first check and you not getting that second check, because now your opponent's at 1 security. They're gonna have to go up into a Jet Sylphimon here soon if they want to not go down, because the The player on the left does have a decent amount of tamers and memory gain, which means that they could easily go into a couple hybrids next turn and try to swing for game. So let's see what they want to go into here. Just going for the full swing, swinging with the Pokemon. You no longer need it. You're both tied at, looks like, 2 security now, so not actually going to give the opponent the TK Kari memory, and they did go over their TK last turn, which I didn't actually notice. I thought they went over one of the Karis for some reason, and so that's very interesting because now your memory tamer's gone, and I don't think the Karis are going to be as impactful as something like TK. And the player on the right, out of yellow tamers, going hybrid on top of them. So once this hybrid's gone, unless they start playing out some more tamers, they're not going to have access to hybrids next turn, which could be very interesting since we are getting towards the late game of this game, to where both the players are getting pretty low on security. Multiple Jet Sylphies and recovery cards such as the Srafimon have come out, so they're going to be running a lot lower on recovery. And the Blinding Ray coming out, going down to 1 security. Rise Greymon going to be able to play the Zoe, swing in. Gonna go down to the Nope, the Magna is 6. I was thinking it was 7, but that is the play cost, not the DP. So gonna be surviving there. We'll see what they want to do here now, because they're both at 1, and I think that Blinding Ray was definitely not the play, because your opponent next turn just swings with the Elecmon to get the last check, and then swings in with a hybrid, and I think that's just it. There's no way they don't have at least 1 hybrid in hand. Gonna go down, draw 1, trash 1. Doesn't matter what you trash here, you just go into a hybrid unless you don't have a hybrid for some reason, and then you go into the Kazimon and go for game. And so that was very interesting because I'm not 100% sure why they went for the Blinding Ray right there to go into the Rise. I think they could have just swung with the Digimon and then just hard played the Zoe and had the Tamer for next turn. But that's going to be this match. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, because I'm going to be bringing you even more BT7 content, including decklist profiles, matches, and all that. So if you get subscribed, you can be notified when that goes live. But I hope you all have a great day. I'll catch you next time. Peace out.